LSU Sports Radio Network. Tigers still in first place, tied with Kentucky and Auburn in that top spot. Will host Missouri tonight at the Assembly Center, at the Maravich Center. That'll be a 8 o'clock tip-off, so your boy ain't making that one. 7:30 pregame, Eagle 98.1. Coach Brady and Chris Blair, and Coach Brady's here with us to start his Tuesday. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jordy. Thank you.
That was a heartbreaker Saturday morning. How do you kind of recap LSU's loss at Auburn?
Well, it was a heartbreaker, but I think what you have to look at the whole picture of what happened in Nashville, and then to come back in a couple of days on a short turn and play as well as LSU did. I think there's some silver lining in that with the way the team responded to what Coach Wade and the staff wanted him to do and the preparation that they put into it, coming off really a disappointing loss at Vanderbilt when Vandy's averaging 59 a game and they put up 99 on us. So I think the way our team came back and responded, we did have a 14-point lead the second half. We were up 8 with 1:49 and had we made a couple of mistakes down the stretch, but that's going to happen. And I think what Coach Wade will do with that is look at the last 3 minutes of those situations and use it as a teaching tool about what we could have done better. And I think he's even examined himself of what he could have done better. So I think those are all positive things for a team to be able to do. But had Auburn not made some incredible shots, I've seen a lot of games LSU's played over the years. I coached a few, and I don't believe I've ever seen a team shooting 28% from the three and doing that throughout the game. Then all of a sudden, they go 5 of 6 from the three or 6 of 8 from the three down the stretch and in overtime. Just really incredible. And not to say that LSU didn't have a hand up from time to time. It wasn't like they were sitting there winding up wide open looking at the rim. So I think a combination of things happened in that game. But if we had beaten Vanderbilt, we wouldn't be discussing the state of the team and how it is. If we'd have beaten Vanderbilt, you go into Auburn and get beat in overtime, you'd say, hey, man, we're doing okay. So
yeah.
I think the Vandy game was just a crazy situation, but I think the team responded at Auburn. I think we're fine, and I'm looking forward to see how we respond and come out and play tonight.
But by no way does Wade have the reputation of not being a closer. If you just look at last season and the way that they won in overtime games and on the road, I mean, they closed out games. But as a young coach, you go through games where you feel like you have control of it and it gets away with you at the end. What type of self-check did you go through as a young coach when you maybe lost some at the end and you doubted the way your team closed?
Well, the first evaluation I always did was looked at myself and what did I not do that I could have done better. And then after I answered that within my own self, then I would sit down and watch the tape, and then you show it to the team, and you're not critical of anyone. You're critical of also yourself and your team, and you sit there and see what we could have done better, what mistake did we make. In particular, a lot of plays happen and make a game successful or not. But, like Skylar Mays, the last shot of the game, when it was tied, maybe he should have driven the ball with the score tied on the road and draw the foul, or at least make the official call a block or a charge or something. But, he settled for a three. But, that's something you learn from, you teach, you watch the tape. Coach Wade's even said maybe we should have called timeout and really got it right. So I think all of those things are positive things when the coach and the players want to do better and learn from that, and I think it'll show up down the road. But, you talk about overtime games. People have to understand how fragile this stuff is. I mean, last year we win 5 overtime games or 4 on the road in the league or something crazy like that. This year we haven't been as successful. So I think that the gauge is how are we doing on a consistent basis? And we're in every single game at the end. And as Coach Wade has said many times, it comes down to a 5 or 6 minute game. We make the plays and do the right things, we win. If not, we lose. But the fragileness of this is really incredible. And like I've said many times, a successful season or a significant season is your ability to win and close games.
Yeah, and LSU's been really good for the most part in that regard. Actually, not really. They've been incredible. Right. To your point, Coach Brady, that Auburn team goes 10 of 12 combined over the last final minute and OT. I think that included 7 threes. And when they did that,
one of those
stadium,
cats hadn't scored in a month. He had 7 3-pointers.
Yeah, and that stadium got crazy. That arena got loud. It got intimidating as I've ever seen. You've been in environments like that. LSU did it. Like, they battled back in overtime. But what's the key? How do you kind of keep your team collected, keep your heads when everything feels like it's working against you?
Well, I think it's the experience the players have and the competitive nature that you develop within your team through well thought out, challenging practices. That just doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you have to prepare those guys for in the off season and in the preseason practice, and all of that is accumulation of that particular moment. And then you're hoping that what you have done and how you've taught them and how you've held them accountable, that they make the right play at the right time in an environment like that. I think most players that compete at that level thrive in that kind of environment. That's what they want. And if I'm a competitor, I used to love to coach in environments. I love coaching at home with a sellout crowd, don't get me wrong. But on the road in that type of environment, I love the challenge of getting the team to play well in situations like that and challenging yourself. The players challenge themselves, and sometimes you win some close ones, sometimes you don't. But I do think with what LSU did and how they competed after the Vanderbilt situation, I think they did a great job. And had we made a free throw there late, or had we not turned it over there late, we'd have won that game. And had Auburn not just done some incredible shot making, we'd have won the game in spite of the mistakes that we may have made. So I think there's some positives in there. I think the key is how we play tonight against the Missouri team that's at the bottom of the league that, like Vanderbilt, has struggled to score it consistently throughout the season.
Talking to Coach John Brady here on Off the Bench, 104.5, Worthy 94.7 ESPN. Coach, is a lack of depth maybe this LSU team's greatest weakness?
I think it is at times, but at the same time, you look around the league, nobody has depth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Auburn, like y'all made a reference to the guy who hadn't scored in 4 games, and he goes 7 for 10 from the three. There have been some situations on my coaching staff, that guy may not even been on the scouting report. Well, we're not going to guard a guy who hadn't scored in 4 games. Oh, really? No kidding. So, I just think it's one of those crazy things that happened to LSU at that particular moment. Lucky for Auburn, unlucky for LSU, but I think we're fine. I think the key, as I said before, is how we play tonight against a team that we're expected to beat at home. And if you look at what Missouri has done on the road, the last 3 games and the struggles to score in the SEC, they put up 54 at South Carolina, 51 at A&M, and 51 at West Virginia. That's their last 3 road games. So, they're going to have to do something crazy to come in here and beat us, because I think this team, with what's coming up on the horizon and the road games that we have, I think our team will be ready to go tonight because they need this game. This is one of those games you need to win at home.
Who in the hell left number 4 off the scouting report? Was that you, Butch? Who in the bleep left this cat off the scouting report?
I don't know if hell's the word.
Are you kidding me? Let's don't do another podcast.
No. That's all they getting. Coach, Charles Manning Jr. is expected back in the next couple of games. What does he bring? What's he bring to the group?
Who now? What do you say?
Charles Manning, when he gets back, what's he provide?
I think he's outstanding. He's an excellent athlete. I thought at the time when he got hurt, he was really coming on to be a really significant player off the bench for LSU. Great defender, finding himself offensively. I don't know the layoff, how much it's going to hurt him, but it can't do anything but be a positive for LSU that needs him on the floor playing well.
Hey, what does John Brady do for Mardi Gras? King of New Orleans.
Well, I'm going to be out of town for most of it because of the travel that we're doing the next few weekends. So, but I got a nice little spot here, I'm on the Capitola, so I'm kind of in the middle of it. And I kind of got an array of choices that I can make down here.
The King of New Orleans, baby.
Hey, congratulations. They get on Trinity. You pull a little day trip to L.A. to go celebrate with your daughter. She got a grades. Congrats, Coach.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, guys. Mighty kind. She's happy, and you know how it is. If your daughter's happy, daddy's happy.
Absolutely.
So all good.
It's a good lesson for me.
Safe travels into Baton Rouge today, Coach. We'll catch you on the air tonight at 7:30.
Okay, guys, thanks.
There he is, former head coach, now part of the LSU Sports Radio Network, and the king of the Big Easy.
I want to go party with Brady
It's great.
in New Orleans.
I don't know if he's paid for a meal in 4 years in that city.
No, he's always holding court every time I go.
Every time I see a photo of him, he's like retweeted some picture of himself at like Galatoire's or Antoine's or somewhere just doing like a boozy lunch.
Boozy lunch,
all
boozy
it
dinners.
We were at a company meal a couple of weeks back. We were at Annunciation.
Oh, be
He's got a
careful.
picture on the
Be careful
wall.
what you're telling on here.
Got a picture on the wall. Brady.
Of Brady?
Right behind us.
Wow.
Yeah. King, man. Your mailbag question's next.